So this is a postgraduate course on literature emerging outside the traditional Anglosphere, in which we study different comparative approaches to these kinds of global texts. So in this course, we encounter different genres of literary texts, as well as other cultural productions like film and visual art. We also read quite a bit of theory and secondary literature, both groundbreaking works in post-colonial and global literary studies by individuals like Gayatri C. Spivak, Simon Gikandi, Gloria Anzaldúa, and David Damrosch, but also a fair bit of newer theoretical work on concepts like minor transnationalisms and the Global South. Our main primary text this semester were novels by, respectively, a Nigerian, a Pakistani-British, a Ghanaian-Canadian, and a Mexican author, chosen not primarily in terms of global coverage, but rather because these texts all helped us think through questions of migration, travel, and displacement, national identity, and language politics in really interesting ways. So you should take this course, of course, if you are curious about literature from elsewhere in the world, but also specifically if your research or your future research involves questions of comparison or global frameworks. So in structuring this course, I really thought about the title, and we basically just interrogate all aspects of that title. So we look at different theoretical approaches to these kinds of texts, for example, world literature, post-colonial studies, border studies, and global South studies. We'll also interrogate the idea of the global by asking what it means to write a global novel, what makes novels global as opposed to regional or national, and what the relationship is between global literature and globalization. Finally, we look at questions of language politics. What does it mean to be writing in English in a formerly colonized space, or in places where English is a dominant language of power? And to what extent authors can and should choose to write in English versus other languages, and how our own translation and reading practices affect this choice. So it's been truly wonderful to sit in a room full of very smart people discussing questions which don't have easy answers. From unpacking dense theoretical texts, to debating the stakes of writing in English and other formerly colonial languages, to asking about the ethics of representation and empathy in literature. Every class this semester has touched on both urgent literary and real-world issues.